today? Welcome back to Mykaela's Corner. It's so good to see you today. It's been another week. This one has been a little less sunny, but still nice. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm really proud of you all for making it through another week of staying home and staying safe. I know that that can be difficult, but hopefully you guys have been practicing kindness like we learned about last week and that you're doing well. This week we are going to be learning about patience and self-control. Now, I thought last week, after doing my lesson on kindness, that I would continue moving forward with, does anybody know what these words have to do together? Kindness, patience, self-control, joy, love, peace, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness. Do you know? That's right, they're fruits of the Spirit. So I thought we would continue down with fruits of the Spirit, and we did kindness last week. So this week we're going to do patience and self-control, because those two kind of go together pretty well. In order to have patience, you have to have self-control. So we'll learn about that today, as well as do some crafts. And we're going to do a special lesson that will get a little possibly stinky for me, maybe not for you, unless you do it at home. And then what else? We'll have a verse, and yeah, how's that sound to you guys? Awesome. Well, let's dive in. Welcome to Bible time. Okay, today we're talking about patience and self-control. So I thought a good question would be first, what is patience and what is self-control? Well, patience is exercising self-control and not getting upset or mad about waiting for something, or for something to happen, or something you asked for. It's about being still and being okay and not freaking out when you're waiting for your food at the restaurant and it's not there yet and you're so hungry and all you want to do is eat. You just got to take a deep breath, and we practice self-control, which self-control is having control over, that's right, ourselves. That means having control over our emotions. So when we get upset, mad, frustrated, all you have to do is remember to take a deep breath and practice self-control. Just because we feel one way doesn't mean we have to act that way. Those are our choices, kind of like what we learned in the Magnificent Chooser book last week. You have the choice to choose what you do with how you feel, or different situations that come up. So today we're learning about patience and self-control. Now, I had mentioned that we are going over the fruits of the Spirit, and so today that's where our verse is going to be from today that we're going to learn, and I'm going to read it for you first. And it comes from Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. Here it goes. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such thing there is no law. So that's pretty cool. There's 9 of them. I almost got to 10, but there's only 9 fruits of the Spirit. I don't know if we're going to get through all 9 of them over the next couple weeks, but we're going to do our best. So today we're going to do 2 together, patience and self-control. Now, when we are trying to be patient for things, have you ever had a situation where you were really frustrated because maybe you had to go to the bathroom, but your sibling was in there first and they're taking forever and you just want to use the restroom? Or how about, here's a good one, when we're at church on a Sunday morning and church is over and you're ready for lunch, you're ready to get out of there and go home, and we get kind of frustrated that our parents are still talking. Trust me, I've been there, I've dealt with that. And you have to wait. It's not time to go yet. Maybe your friends have already left and you're just sitting there and you're starting to feel bored, or you're starting to feel frustrated, sad, hungry, or hangry when you get angry because you're hungry. Those are the times that God wants you to practice self-control by not overreacting, not getting mad, but choosing to take a deep breath, find something else to do while you wait. One thing I found was that it's really helpful to think of things that I'm thankful for, because you can't be upset when you're thanking God for things in your life. So today, what we're going to do to show patience is I'm going to make something that I really like to eat. Now, I don't know if you like to eat it, but you probably have had it before. It's a hard-boiled egg. Now, that is something that you have to wait for, and I'll show you why. You ready? Come with me to the kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. Ta-da! This is where all that delicious cooking magic happens. And today we are going to be making boiled eggs to go with our theme of patience. Now to start, the first thing we need is a pot of water, which thankfully I already have. Ta-da! And we're gonna add some salt to it. So, we're gonna do that by taking some of this salt, sprinkling it in, and then turning on the stove. We need it to boil so it goes all the way to the hot. Now here's the fun part. We have to wait. How long? I don't know. I've actually never timed how long it takes to boil water, but now I'm gonna look. It's now 2:50 my time. I don't know what time you'll be watching, but it's 2:50 my time, and I'm gonna keep track of how long it takes. But now I have to wait and be patient. So I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Bye! Welcome back. How's it been? Have you been waiting long? It is now 2:57, so it took us 7 minutes to boil water. Yeah, 7 minutes. And look at it now. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. Ready? Here we go. Boop, boop, boop. All right, we have our hot boiling water, and now I need to turn it down just a little bit so that it doesn't boil over. So I'm gonna do it kind of medium hot. Now we need our eggs. So we're gonna come over here to our eggs. We got these from Trader Joe's. Thanks, Trader Joe's. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a spoon and my eggs and bring them back over to the pot. Dun, 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 dun. And because it's so hot, I don't want to drop the egg in because it might splash up. So I'm gonna actually take one of the eggs, put it on my spoon, and then drop it in that way. Here we go. And now, you guessed it, waiting more. See you in about 12 minutes when these should be ready. Okay, bye. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Our eggs are done boiling, so now we can turn off the stove. There they are. Now we're gonna take it off the heat, moving it to a different burner. Now if you make these at home, you definitely need to do this with a parent. Look at that. Oop, one cracked, but that's okay. It stayed inside the shell, which means that it's done. All right, now we're gonna take this over to our pot holder we have here. And now, is it time to eat? Unfortunately, no. Look at how hot that is. It's so steamy. Wow. We need to let them cool. So how we're gonna do that is I'm gonna reach in here and grab one egg at a time and move it to my cold water. All right, there's one. And 2. Remember how I said earlier that it might be a little stinky? Well, hard-boiled eggs aren't necessarily the best smelling thing in the world. They sure do taste good. It was a little bit stinky. All right, so now we have 3. And our last guy here. 4. All right, so we're gonna let these wait probably another 5-ish minutes while they cool off, and then they'll be ready. Welcome back. Wow, that took a while, didn't it? It took probably about 25 minutes for us to start with our eggs to when I could actually eat my egg. And boy, was it good. But all that time that I spent waiting, I started to get bored, and bored is not something that I like to hear because bored means you're not using your imagination or your brain. So I decided to come up with something to do while I waited, and what I did was I looked for a verse. And this is what I found. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, it says, Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Basically, what that's saying is, if you want anything or if you need anything and you're asking God for it, we're not supposed to be like anxious and waiting and like, oh, when's it gonna come? He's saying that we just have to pray for it and then be thankful. And then when it happens, then we can be thankful even more. So I took note of that. Be thankful. And we have a book that we're going to read about. God gives us thankful hearts. Now, it's not necessarily about patience, but it does go with what I did while I was being patient and having self-control. Here's what I did. Are you ready? I chose to be thankful. And even though I couldn't think of anything at the moment, like I wasn't thankful in that moment, waiting and waiting, because that's no fun. But what I did instead was I made a list of everything I'm thankful for. Look at all these things. I was so surprised at how many things I had to be thankful for just in that short amount of time. And there's so many more too. But when I had started to get bored and when I had started to get frustrated that I wasn't eating my egg yet, after I made all these things, guess what? I wasn't sad or frustrated or like anymore. I was thankful and now I'm happy. And when it was done, I wasn't even done filling out all the things I was thankful for. That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So next time that you're struggling with patience or self-control, try writing down things you're thankful for. You might come up with something different that you like to do, but for me, there's things I'm thankful for. And that's how God's teaching us to be patient, by waiting. And eventually, someday, will we be able to have no more patience? No. We always have to be patient, and we always have to have control over ourselves. There will never be a moment in life where we don't have to show patience anymore or self-control. So it's good to start learning now. All right, and now on to reading some stories. Welcome to Story Time. Today we're going to be reading two books. One is called God Gave Us Thankful Hearts by Lisa Bergen and David Holm. This I mentioned a little bit earlier, where we're not necessarily talking about thankfulness today, but it is something you can do while you're waiting and while you're being patient and using self-control. Because when you're thankful, you can't be mad or upset. You can just be thankful. All right, so that's one book we're going to read today. And the other one is called Waiting. And this is by Kevin Henkes. Not sure how to pronounce his last name, but Kevin Henkes is what I'm going with. And this is just a cute story, especially for you younger kids. Learning about these guys here and what they do while they wait and what they're waiting for. All right, are you ready? Let's dive in. Waiting by Kevin Henkes. There were 5 of them, and they were waiting. The owl with spots was waiting for the moon, and the pig with the umbrella was waiting for the rain, and the bear with the kite was waiting for the wind. The puppy on the sled was waiting for the snow, and the rabbit with stars wasn't waiting for anything in particular. He just liked to look out the window and wait. When the moon came up, the owl was happy. It happened a lot. And when the rain came down, the pig was happy. The umbrella kept her dry. And when the wind blew, the bear was happy, and the kite flew high and far. And when it finally snowed, the puppy was happy. He'd waited a very long time. The rabbit was happy, just looking out the window. Sometimes one or the other of them went away, but he or she always came back. Sometimes they slept, but mostly they waited. Sometimes gifts appeared. Once a visitor arrived from far away. He stayed a while. Then he left and never returned. They saw many wonderful, interesting things. And of course, there was always the moon and the rain and the wind and the snow to keep them happy. One day, a cat with patches joined them. Was she waiting for the moon? No. Was she waiting for the rain? No. Was she waiting for the wind? No. Was she waiting for the snow? No. She didn't seem to be waiting for anything in particular. Oh, but she was. Now there were 10 of them, and they were happy together, waiting to see what would happen next. The end. God Gave Us Thankful Hearts by Lisa Tom Bergen and by David Holm. Well, there you are, little pup, Mama said. Why are you looking so glum? I don't know, he mumbled. I'm just sad. How can you be sad on such a beautiful day? Because the leaves are changing colors and soon it will be winter. I like spring, summer, and fall when I can play with all my friends. Hibernation season is boring. You'll still have some friends about come winter. And there's a reason for us to be thankful for every season, little pup. We need winter to let the land, and some of our friends have a rest. Otherwise, we wouldn't get spring. But everyone is going to be in hibernation, he grumbled. The chipmunks and bears, the badgers and bats, even the raccoons, beavers, and squirrels won't come out much. What about the skunks or bees? You won't see much of them either, Mama said. Little pup smiled. I guess I could be thankful about that. We can be thankful for how God paints our forests every autumn, Mama said. Yeah, but I'm not thankful for poison ivy, little pup said, remembering the time he rolled in a patch by accident. It makes you so itchy. True, but you can be thankful you know how to avoid it now, right? I guess. Oh, and I'm not thankful when my pack buddies get too rambunctious with me, little pup said. Rambunctious, you mean? Yeah, that. Mama giggled. But you can be thankful you have friends who will be around all winter, right? They will keep you from being lonely. Maybe. The trick to having a thankful heart, Mama said, is thinking about the things that make us happy, rather than the things that don't. Like what? Well, that's easy. I'm thankful for you, she said, squeezing him tight. Being your mama has made me one of the happiest mamas in the whole wide world. And you, little pup, what makes you thankful? Well, you and Papa, of course, he said. And I'm thankful for fishing. I like fishing too, Papa said, but God gave us thankful hearts so we could praise him when we don't catch fish. What? That's crazy talk, little pup said. It's not, Papa said with a smile. We can be thankful for this last bit of autumn and time together besides this beautiful river, even if we don't catch fish. I'm thankful we go to the Harvest Festival every year, little pup said, but I didn't like it when we got lost in the corn maze. Me neither, Mama said, but we found our way through, right? We can be thankful for how God shows us the way, even when it seems a little scary. Yeah, and that we're not alone in those times, little pup said. Yes, now you're getting the hang of having a thankful heart. My heart is thankful for apples, little pup said. Mama said, and hot apple pie.
Oh, yes, and caramel apples, Papa said. Or baked apples with ice cream. I'm thankful for the freedom to wander and explore, Mama said, and for the pretty country we live in. Me too, Little Pup said. You know what I think I'm thankful for the mostest? Little Pup said. Dessert! And for dinner before it, Mama said, lifting a brow. Something healthy in our bellies before all this sugar. I'm thankful for our cozy, warm home, Papa said, especially as winter draws near. Little Pup had to admit he was really sleepy as he yawned and climbed the stairs toward bed. He felt so thankful he was with his mama and papa inside and not out in the damp forest or cold, wet snow. I'm glad I don't feel sad anymore, Little Pup said. I'm glad God gave me a thankful heart. Us too, Little Pup, Mama said. We all have so much to be thankful for. Little Pup drifted off to sleep with a smile on his face, thanking God for his friends and family, and for fishing, and for corn mazes, and for apples, and for changing seasons, even for the end of fall. The end.
Welcome to Craft Time. This is everything that you will need for today's craft. Now we're going to be doing two things. One, we're going to be making a snack, and two, we're going to be making a project with part of our snack that's left over. So you'll need peanut butter, paint, some raisins. You'll need a stalk of celery, some markers, or really anything to draw with, a plate, and a cutting board. For those of you that are older, you'll want to grab some sort of knife if you're allowed to cut. And for those of you who are younger, you're going to want to have your parents help you with this part by cutting off the end of the celery. I chose a butter knife, which took me a while to cut through. So I would suggest using something sharper if you're cutting it yourself. But once you have it cut off, you're going to actually save the bottom of the celery, because as it looks like a flower here, we're going to use that again. So we're going to set that off to the side. And now we're going to get a piece of celery out of this bundle. Now, for those of you who are doing this at home, I would recommend washing all of this beforehand. I forgot, so as you'll see in a moment, I'm just going to wipe off the dirt. Call it good. There we go. And now we're going to cut this into chunks. Some of you may already know where this is going. For those of you who don't, we are going to be making ants on a log. And for that, we need our logs, which is the celery. So now that we've got our celery cut down into some cute log sizes, you're going to need your raisins and your peanut butter. And we're going to put a knifeful of peanut butter into each celery log that we have. For those of you who may have an allergy to peanut butter, you can use any sort of nut butter that goes along with this. And if you have full allergies to like nuts and you can't have this at all, I would recommend making a banana caterpillar. You would just slice up your banana and then turn it into a caterpillar using toothpicks, and then you put each slice on with a toothpick. But for this one, since I wanted to use the end of the celery for our second part of our craft, we're going with celery and peanut butter. And once you have your peanut butter all over your celery, next we're going to put that off to the side, close that up, and then we're going to get out our raisins. We'll also want our plate for this part as we finish assembling our delicious snack. And some of you may be thinking, oh, Mykaela, raisins are fruits because they're grapes dried up, but celery isn't a fruit. What does this have to do with fruits of the spirit? And that's a great question. I decided to just go with it anyways because fruits and veggies go together. So we're going to give vegetables for our stomach and fruit for our spirit. So now, as you can see, I am using a couple raisins and sticking them into the peanut butter, and those represent our ants for our delicious, healthy
snack of ants on a log. And there you have it. We have our delicious snack. And now we're going to set it off to the side and grab the celery that we cut off earlier. Yes, this one. The one that looks like a flower. This part usually goes in the trash, but we're going to save it and reuse it for our craft today. Which you will need some paint. You will need some markers or really anything to color with. And a piece of construction paper. Now first you're going to take your piece of construction paper and we're going to turn this into like a garden of flowers. So I'm going to draw my stems for my flowers. Now for those of you who are older, this may be a little simple, so I suggest you turning this into a card so you can fold it in half when it's done. So decorate one side of it and then fold it in half so you can use it as a card. And then you have your homemade card that you can use. You can even use it for Mother's Day coming up next week. Next, we're going to put paint on a plate. I didn't have any paper plates, so depending on what kind of paint you have at home, I suggest using a paper plate. But for mine, I know this is really washable, so I'm making do with what I have, which is what we're all doing in quarantine. So this is going to be how we stamp our celery. I chose some bright colors. I love bright colors. And then you're going to take the celery that you have left over, and now you're going to paint on to your celery. I tried to stamp it, but then I realized I did not have enough space for my celery, so I'm using my paintbrush instead. One thing I recommend that I didn't do in this video is dry off the end of the celery because it kind of mixes a lot of water with the paint. It does okay, as you'll see in a moment, but I think you would have better results if you dried it off a little bit. Because for me, I'm kind of like, well, it's a stamp, it doesn't look like a flower, but as we get going, they look better. So I think that might have helped if I had dried it off, so I would suggest doing that at home. But you're going to use whatever colors you want, and you're going to finish stamping your flowers depending on how many you drew. Another thing I thought of is with the end of the celery is if you pull it apart a little bit, you might get more definition in your flower. But that purple one turned out pretty good. And now we can set that off to the side because we have our flowers. And now I'm going to actually take my finger and in the extra paint I have, I'm going to dip to make some butterflies. So I dip my finger in to make the body of the butterfly. I'm going to use my finger as a stamp and then I wipe my hands off. And now I'm going to draw the wings. Again, for those of you who are older, I would suggest kind of building this out a little bit more. You can add more decorations. You can give it like the sky, the sun. You can color in your grass. You could even use different pieces of paper to represent different parts of the sky, grass. Maybe you even cut out stems instead. Make it really like a beautiful design. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. But there you have it. A delicious snack and then an extra cool flower painting.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reading for you Galatians 5 verses 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such thing there is no law. Bye!
Welcome back to Memorizing a Verse. Now, today, I read this earlier in our video, but we are going to be memorizing Galatians 5, 22 and 23. Now this is the verse about the fruit of the Spirit, so I gave us some fruit here to remember what we're talking about. And I wrote out the 9 different fruits of the Spirit in a different color to help us kind of remember in that way. So, you know how this goes. We're going to start, say this through, we're going to say it 3 times, and then we're going to start erasing it word by word, and then repeating. Are you ready? Here we go. Galatians 5, 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. All right, that's kind of a long one. Let's say it again from the top. Galatians 5, 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. I'm going to say it one more time before we take any words out. You ready? Galatians 5, 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. All right, here we go. Let's start taking these out. Let me get my marker so we can do an underline. And let's see, actually let's do one for these words and one for our fruits. So I've got my blue and my red. And let's take out love. Give a little line here. Love. Let's take out patience, since that's what we're learning today. Patience and self-control. Are you ready? Here we go. Galatians 5, 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and that's right, self-control. Against such things there is no law. All right, let's take out Galatians. I bet you guys are getting so good at this. I'm going to take out more. Take out fruit. Oh, forgot my underline. Galatians. Fruit. Fruit. Let's take out goodness and gentleness. Oops, wrong color. Goodness and gentleness. My lines are a little rough, but you get the point. All right, from the top. Galatians 5, 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, goodness. Pretty sure I just got these mixed up. That's okay. And self-control. Against such things there is no law. I think this one is goodness and gentleness. But either way, as long as we're getting all the words in, you're doing great. All right, here we go. 5:22. We'll take out 22. We'll take out but, which seems to always be the word that gets me on this. It's the first word. Let's take out against. And law. All right, ready? Galatians 5, 22 through 23. But, I remembered, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Pretty sure I mixed those up again. I think, which one is it? Let me look here at my notes. Goodness is at the top. So thumbs up for goodness because they're at the top. goodness, gentleness. Goodness, gentleness. That helps me. Sometimes having emotions in there helps me. You should try that too. Okay, let's take out spirit. Let's take out peace and joy. Okay, so we've got that spirit. We've got peace, joy, and peace. All right, you ready? Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Great. All right, let's take out 5 and 23. And let's take out the. And you better believe we're taking out faithfulness and kindness. Now let me underline that there. 1 and 2. All right, from the top. Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I almost forgot. Against such things there is no law. All right, let's take out the, of, and is. So we'll only have words at the bottom. The fruit of the Spirit is. Okay, ready? Man, these lines look rough. That's okay, we're moving on. Here we go. Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is, ready? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. All right, I'm going to take all the words out now. Are you ready? Am I ready is the bigger question. Oops. Against such things there is no law. Against such things there is no law. All right, close these up because we don't need it anymore. All right, from the top, are you ready? Say it with me. Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. How'd you do? I gotta admit, guys, for the first time not having messed up on the first time not having words, I'm feeling pretty good. I just had to have patience with myself, and look, I did it. All right, I'm gonna go a little bit faster, but you know how it goes for me when I go too fast. I get really tongue-tied and I forget where I am, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Here we go. Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Guys, I did it! Woo! All right, now, I'd love to hear you guys do it faster. You can tell me about it if you want. You can write it in the comments on the Facebook page, or you can send me a picture. Thank you so much, by the way, for all of those of you who sent pictures watching the video last week. I loved seeing those. It was really encouraging to see that you guys are watching this and that you're enjoying the crafts and the story reading. Keep sending those to me. I love to see, and anything that you'd like to see added in, let me know. All right, well, that's it for our verse. So now I think it's time to wrap up. So back over to Mykaela. Bye. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I loved having all of you guys here with me. Especially give a shout out for those of you who are from our Lakeside kids at church. I'm so happy that you were able to make it here, and I am so proud of you for making it through another week. And for those of you who also are joining us today that may not go to our church, thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you here. Hopefully you'll continue to watch as we move forward. But as far as today goes, that's a wrap. And I hope you guys have a great week. Love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye!